We are rolling.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Creative Businessmen. Today our guest is us.
Hey.
It's just Daniel and I. And by the way, if you haven't been watching the show since the beginning, I'm Neil Hoover.
I'm Daniel Story.
And we are the Creative Businessmen. So,
And that was not rehearsed. We just did that off the cuff.
Yeah, right, yep.
We're talented.
All improv.
All improv. Yeah, I just followed his lead.
So we're just going to talk about a few topics today, and anything else that comes up as
Fair
usual. I was doing a little bit of, I read news and a lot of science and technology every day. But something I found that was really cool yesterday was, you familiar with Boston Dynamics? The robotics company?
They do the.
You're going to talk about the dancing, aren't
Yes,
you?
it's
The
amazing.
what?
The dancing. So they've got,
Lord.
they're one of the leaders in robotics. Like they've got the most advanced
I think I saw a dog that
humanoid
walks
robots.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got Spot. You can actually buy that now. It's about $75,000.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's actually a pretty useful tool, also.
That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty crazy that it's only $75,000.
Yeah.
Only $75,000, but I'm sure they've got millions of dollars into that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or more.
Insane amounts of money invested. But so they started developing this robot years ago. I remember when I first saw it. You know, it walks like a person. It can jump and run, and it was really amazing. And it, but it's. I think back then it was actually remote controlled, and I think it can be both now. I think they can program it to sort of be autonomous,
Right.
and remote controlled through some kind of AI. But so now they've got it to where they've got a couple of these robots, these humanoid robots, and then they've got some other robots they've developed, and they've created a dance with these things. And so they've done this before, and it didn't. Pause it for a second. It didn't look all that real.
Dude, just what I can little see. Do we have any volume on that?
I'll turn it up just a little bit, but it's so now they do it, and it looks like CGI, but it's not. Like these robots move so smoothly, and they dance better than most people dance.
Really?
And so we can't show a whole lot of it on the show because we'll get pulled, or we could. But go ahead and play it. And the music's definitely copyrighted.
I have the sound cut off, but
Okay.
you can tell.
Oh.
Oops. The hell? Come on. There we go.
I mean, it's like the way they move is, it doesn't even look real. What is?
The costs.
Oh yeah, there's Spot, the yellow one. You can buy that for $75,000.
Wow.
Hang on, I've got a better video that doesn't have all the ads on it.
You'd think that CNN would have had a better.
That's pretty crazy, though, just from what I saw. That's very lifelike, very realistic. Wow. Dude, that's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
That is absolutely crazy.
And so for people that are just listening, go to Boston Dynamics YouTube channel and just look at that's probably their most recent video of their robots dancing.
Wow.
And it is unbelievable.
Dude, if you put some clothes on him and...
It doesn't look real, does it?
No, man. If you put some clothes on him and some stuff, it would look like... I mean, like, literally just...
Yeah.
Let's bring in and put some fake skin and some hair. Like, literally, that would look like a person.
Yeah, it's amazing that
Wow.
we have
Wow.
robots that can do this now.
I haven't seen this.
And now their dog-looking robot is joining in.
Wow.
So anyway,
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty amazing. And so that main robot is called Atlas, the tall humanoid robot. That thing can do backflips and forward flips and all kinds of stuff. So
What is that?
some other new strange robot they have.
You know they're just having a blast with this, too. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's cool. That one looks like a ballerina with the way it's doing its feet.
I'm excited to see what these do when we get really advanced AI inside them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty advanced AI, but
We're screwed.
Yeah, what's coming next is they're going to put weapons on these, and that's going to be your military.
Oh, I think they're already
unfortunately,
there.
they're already doing
Yeah.
that. Actually, I believe the military funded a lot of the Spot development, the dog thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To carry stuff. It used to be this really sort of loud
Yeah,
robot. It
two-stroke
looked like
motor.
a donkey, and it would just really
Yeah.
loud, but it could carry a lot. And
Right.
you can see lots of videos of dudes like kicking it and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and maintaining its
Yeah.
balance. You know, kind of impractical, but this is kind of where they're going. You know.
Well, this definitely is looking much more.
Well, the cool thing is that an AI could move itself between infinite numbers of robots. You know, so it could actually move around like their avatars,
Yeah, it's going to get crazy.
be in different places.
I
at
need to
once.
send this to my son,
Yeah, he would.
Daniel. As much
really
as he loves
appreciate
building
this.
stuff, man,
Yeah.
I gotta send him this. He'd love that.
So that was cool. So Boston Dynamics is still doing some awesome stuff.
Yeah, you need to send me that one later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. Elon Musk. This is an older article from last month, but I'm sure most people haven't read it. He says that building the first sustainable city on Mars will take 1,000 starships in 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, and
Which means it's going to take 10 years. And
well, it's Elon's time, so he's usually
is he on time? You think?
no, he's usually off.
Oh,
But I think with exponential growth and technology, he may be right. It may
a
be
thousand
less than
starships
20
sounds like a
years.
lot, but that's not.
Yeah, and also the way exponential growth works, it's hard to predict that because the curve is so steep,
Yeah.
and it's almost straight up now.
So when are we getting a planet for the criminals? Is that what's coming?
Are you talking about like the Australia or the Georgia planets?
Yeah. We need the.
Well, I think
Is that controversial? I don't know. Just
well, I think by that point we won't have
Not yet.
criminals anymore.
in 20 years, you think?
Yeah, I mean, maybe 20 years we will, but I'd say within the next 50 to 100 years we won't have criminals anymore. We'll just, a lot of experts believe that we won't have traditionally fertilized embryos after the next decade.
As long as I still get to have fun, it's fun. If
Well, I
we
think
have
life
to,
will be a lot more fun if there's less suffering.
yeah, I'm talking about the fun of sex. I'm not. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's this part about it's to procreate. I get that, but the other part of it is I just enjoy doing it.
Well, it'll probably be better.
I've done it thousands of times, and those did not result in pregnancy. So that tells you how much I like it.
Well, I think once we start modifying embryos and genetically engineering ourselves, we'll solve the problems that make us do terrible things as a species. So our behavior will be better towards each other, and also will be a lot more intelligent, most likely once we start to merge with this technology.
Yeah.
And I think we'll probably live in we'll spend a lot of our life probably in a virtual world. In our minds, we're all connected together, and I think all of those, any experience you could have, I think will be magnitudes better in that reality than what we experience in this physical reality here. But it'll be another physical reality. It's just another layer down in reality.
Yeah.
So you're going to put us in the Matrix, huh?
We probably already are.
So how do we? So what? So if that's the end result, then the question
A
I have
matrix.
is how do we own the Matrix? We need to start developing it.
The
Well, I
Matrix
don't
must be
think,
owned.
Yes, it must be owned.
I don't think money will exist once we reach that level.
That's right,
It
'cause-
won't have a purpose.
I'm gonna have to buy the Matrix or something else other than money then.
There's got to be something.
And if there's no sex, I can't trade sexual favors.
It'll
So
just be unlimited resources for everyone.
how are some of the female actors going to get promoted if there's no exchange of acting jobs for sex?
everything will be leveraged.
That's
just like,
very controversial. That was a terrible joke.
Yeah.
Sorry, Harvey.
I think we've already solved that one.
Yeah, Harvey, I apologize, buddy. But you deserved it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Enjoy prison.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he actually provides a pretty nice gig there
Yeah, I'm sure.
compared to most people. Yeah.
He's going to get all the sex he doesn't want.
Ba-dum-ching.
Ba-dum-ching.
You got to earn those cigarettes.
That's right.
Harvey.
Yeah, you want that roll, don't you, buddy?
You got extra TV time today.
He's, oh, that's crass. This we took a left turn. I'm sorry. I took it.
Extra work, you'll get some knee pads.
Yeah.
I think the monetary system, and I know really shit about it except I live within it, but
Yeah.
I think it's going to kind of be around in some kind of form, at least some sort of transference
Yeah.
of energy and stuff, whether it be
Well, I
credits.
think
And there's too many, like, they're already talking about mining all these, like, asteroids. There's one full of gold and all kinds of valuable materials. That's probably what our financial whatever's going to be based on for the most part. It'll be that compared with.
So
like,
that's a good
wealth.
point, because maybe what it is, Jesse, is instead of us going out in the sea and looking for sunken ships with gold, maybe people, maybe new business startups are people that launch their own spacecraft and they go out and they go explore the universe to find resources.
Dude, get a squad of those Boston Dynamics machines that are built for that.
Yeah.
Send them in a little pod, claim an asteroid and capitalize.
That's pretty interesting.
I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk is planning on landing Starship on Mars by 2022.
I need to.
2022.
Let me ask you. So, is that company? Is that the?
That'll be an unmanned.
Is that the
flight.
Boring company, or is that what is that?
That's SpaceX.
SpaceX. Okay, so SpaceX. Apologies. Is SpaceX? I've not done any investing. Is that something that people can invest in? I wonder.
Yeah, absolutely. It's public.
It's public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's very profitable. So here's an example of the power of SpaceX. So the Starship, the newest ship that they just tested recently.
Now, why'd they come up with the name Starship? You don't think it has anything to do with?
Well, Elon's pretty funny.
I feel like that's. Yeah, I feel like there was some. Like paying homage.
Well, if you look at the Tesla, the Model, what is the Model S or whatever, the fast sedan, it's got that ludicrous mode or something. It's like it asks you if do you want to go into this mode or call your mommy? So he's got a good sense of humor.
He does.
But anyway, the Starship, they tested it a couple weeks ago. It did a great job until it landed. It didn't land right. It just exploded. But it was a great test, and they knew the problem. It was kind of a problem with one of the tanks. But so they'll have it fixed. I'm confident the next test will probably be perfect. And but anyway, the Starship can carry 100 tons of cargo.
You just solved it for me. I'm going to buy a Tesla today.
Okay.
I think I'm going to have to. Do I have time? I got to go to Vegas, but I don't know if I got time, but we'll figure it out. I think I need one.
I think so.
But go ahead, sorry.
I
just had that thought pop in my head. I'm like, I need a Tesla.
think you'd like it. So the SpaceX Starship can transport as much as 100 tons of cargo into orbit, and they want to start using the Starship to do
100 tons.
Yeah. So, but So the vehicles now, or the space transport vehicles that we're using today, can only transport. I think we're only doing like 500 tons a year.
So they can do 200. That's 200,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So
no, it's 2 million pounds, isn't it? 100 tons is, well, a ton is 2,000 pounds. So 2,000 times 100. No, it's 200,000. Yeah, 200,000. That's right.
That's still substantial.
I'm great at math.
Yes, me too. Well, I had a moment there. This is the problem with technology is I'm an intelligent guy, especially because of math, but I was like, I think that's 200,000 pounds, but let me check.
Yeah,
now I'm starting to doubt myself. Like, oh, well, let me see what Google says.
So 200,000 pounds per flight. Now we're only transporting.
So what that also means is 500,000 people, probably, approximately.
Well,
I mean, they got to worry about air and oxygen. They may not have all those things, but I'm just thinking. I'm forward thinking. Like,
I'm not sure how many people they can fit on a flight, but it's
Could you have? Maybe they come up with a Starship. Maybe that's coming up too, where you're going to have ones that house 100,000 people or 200,000.
Well, you can't stack them in there, but
True. 1,000 people.
how many people can we cram into this thing?
You're talking about like 100, right? Am I
Just
mistaken?
the bottom group of people just get smashed when it takes off. It's just,
just pressure and the weight.
Did you guys hear this sort of going with it, but not as exciting as like the Starship, but how they're starting to construct vehicles that can clean up space?
Yes.
Because we got like
Yeah.
shit tons of
A
metal
lot of
and debris out there.
Really?
Tons, and so they're starting
Oh,
to.
man.
The SpaceX is going to get into it too. I bet they have a vehicle, but I haven't seen anything from that. There's another company, and this is terrible. I think it was a French company, but don't hold me to that. But it looked like this big cone with a mouth that would just open and just grab stuff as it swallowed.
I want to see the visual of this.
It's right here.
And you know what we need to do? We need to overlay some music, like some old 80s porn music, you know, like.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's not a good one. Where's the?
Yeah, but it reminded me of there's a 007 movie called You Only Die Twice or something like that, and the whole thing was about I think it was Spectre or whatever, but they had this ship that could swallow like the space shuttle, and so they were grabbing space shuttles out of orbit and stuff, and it looked a lot like that thing, which is really weird.
That's hilarious. That's where they got the
Pretty
idea.
good. This is NASA. Hang on. Let me move this.
Yeah, forget you guys can AirPlay. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you you an Apple? You got an iPhone over there, Jesse?
Oh yeah,
I love it.
yeah, me too. Never going back.
Yeah, me neither, man. I can't. Every time I try to use a phone or a friend's got like an Android, I'm like, what is this?
I
It's
got
irritating.
Did you get when the Droid first came out? Did you
Yeah.
get one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's NASA's space debris map.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It actually looks
now,
worse than that.
this sounds dumb, but how the fuck did he get there?
It's just from like satellites, old satellites breaking up or just floating around. A lot of things like when they did older space missions, they'd drop off tanks and stuff. And then there's other things that have smashed together and exploded into thousands of parts. There's just tons of debris. And it's all going, tens of thousands of miles an hour around the planet.
So it can puncture spaceships and stuff.
Yeah, like a bolt can just go right through a piece of like a spacecraft. So, but they map it all so they can just fly right through it.
Wow.
It's pretty interesting. But there's a concern about it becoming too big of an issue to allow us to escape the planet. So it could actually trap us in the planet, which is a problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah. So hopefully they're
Come on, Elon.
going to
The
figure
fuck,
that
man?
out. So yeah, that's
Dude, I didn't know that. Neil, I'm glad you prepared for today, man. I'm glad. I need a little more caffeine. I'm learning too much. I need to retain this.
so where was I at on this? Okay, yeah. So with
Oh, you were going to show me a picture of this thing swallowing space junk. Were you going to do that?
I think it's just a drunk concept right now.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I'm not sure.
Okay, so but anyway, the Starship, so it can transport up to 100 tons into orbit. But what they want to do with the Starship, they want to use it for travels to Mars because it's such a large spacecraft, and it's also designed for that. But it's also designed to do what do they call? It's like Earth orbital transportation. So they can travel incredible distances around the planet in just a few minutes, like 45 minutes, like halfway around the world. So and transport up to 100 tons of cargo. So they're going to start doing these Earth orbital missions, and they'll just do those constantly. And they believe that they can build around 1,000 starships and do or not build 1,000 starships, but build like a fleet of starships and do 1,000 trips a year or something.
wow.
So they can start transporting. That would be 1 million tons of cargo a year. And right now we're doing
Well, 1,000 trips at 200,000 at 200,000 pounds a trip.
Is that 2 million?
200,000 at a how many trips? 1,000 trips?
Yeah, 1,000 trips.
No, it'd be 200 million, right?
200 million.
Pounds, yeah.
Okay. So it'd be 2 million tons, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so that's
It's a lot.
We're
Right now,
we're killing it today with the math.
Right now, we're only doing 500 tons a year in orbital transport.
Well,
So,
I just want to let everybody know it's the last day of 2020.
and this is just SpaceX. There's other companies, like Amazon and
Oh yeah.
and what's the other one?
I forget that it's like Space Blue, but something else. I forget
Yeah,
what it's called.
blue something,
Yeah.
blue something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's his name's company, the Virgin, Sir something,
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
Branson's
Yeah,
company, yeah.
yeah. So, and there'll be more, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Once they get all the stuff worked out, the compounded amount of businesses that could be started revolving around this is just astronomical. Not to really meaning to go for a pun, but I mean it's just like you've got the fleet of ships, but then you need maintenance, you need people to man them, you need people to be able to take them apart and put them back together, plus whatever kind of machinery. It seems like the Starship they're going to be vehicles that have multifunction. The Starship is, of course, great for cargo, but also great for human cargo
Right.
and stuff. Yeah.
Well, they also plan on the Starship. Musk said the Starship will be able to take 3 flights a day, so it can land and relaunch
Wow.
in the same day up to 3 times. And
Yeah,
he believes he can get the cost down to $2 million per flight,
Really?
which is, really cheap for that type of
Yeah.
technology.
What I want to figure out is when they're going to have handheld, like you put it in your pocket, because the spaceship is coming apart, and I need to be able to put a device on my face. And
Yeah.
Safety.
And if you guys want to read this article, it's in TechCrunch.com. It's by Dale Irvington on November 7th, 2019. So it's actually a year old. It's older than I thought it was. So this is there's probably a newer article about this stuff that would give us a better idea of a timeline. But I know that the Starship's already been, they've already built some early versions of it and tested them. So this will be soon.
yeah.
And as far as the money thing, you're absolutely right about we'll definitely be mining asteroids on other planets and stuff like that. But I think when we reach that level, we'll just have such an unlimited. We'll have such unlimited resources and the ability to manipulate matter in such a way that that money is not going to really mean anything anymore. I think
Right.
Our money may just be some kind of a social status or something, but and maybe not even that way. I feel like AI will be doing most of our work for us at that point, and may even eventually will be a part of us. But I just don't think we'll worry about money or currency. I don't think it's going to be a thing. I mean, I think it could exist, but I think there'll just be unlimited amounts of it, and maybe some people have more of it because they're maybe doing more things in society. But you're not going to have poverty. I don't think poverty and stuff like that will exist because, right now we have more resources than we can even comprehend just on the Earth. We don't know how to access the matter. Like, we don't know how to manipulate the matter to access the resources.
Right.
Because there's so much energy just in a grain of sand on a quantum level, but we don't know how to harness that energy. But we're not even a class 1 civilization yet. So once we start to learn how to harness the solar energy, the energy from our sun, we start to harness the energy from the planet, we start to become profoundly technologically advanced, resources just won't be an issue anymore.
Yeah.
But I also don't know that we'll be the same thing once we reach that level either. And I don't know how long that'll be. I don't think it'll be very long. I heard a scientist recently on a podcast. She was talking about how she thought that technology itself may be an organism, and we're just not aware of it. Like it may be just a different type of life form, and it's almost manipulating us to manipulate it. But I think it's all the same thing. I think nature's all one thing, and maybe maybe technology is another step in the process of life. Because you look at your phone. This thing is pretty amazing,
Oh yeah.
and it looks pretty amazing, but it's all from the Earth. It's just been manipulated that much. This is like the combination of millions of brains working together in some symbiotic relationship, like this collective consciousness that's creating this thing. And, it's really just nature manipulating itself.
Yeah.
And this has got to be what nature is becoming, right?
Yeah.
I mean, guys like Ray Kurzweil say that, this may be what the whole planet turns into. Once we learn how to manipulate matter in a way that we can use or not use, but harness all the resources in a non-destructive manner.
So Earth will become Coruscant, huh?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, everything could just become technology. I mean, everything may already be technology anyway. We think of technology as not natural, but it's nature. It's just as natural as a tree.
Right. What do they call the biotech? Wetware?
Yeah. So I think hopefully we'll experience it, but if not, I think eventually there will be it'll be indistinguishable. Technology will be indistinguishable from nature, what we call nature.
Right.
It'll all be some kind of technology, and it'll probably just continue to spread out through the universe.
I still think the nature argument will be an argument that humans have for a while, though. Like,
Yeah.
I agree that
Until
everything is nature, but then people have this sort of divided notion as to what's natural and what's unnatural.
Yeah, a lot of that's just ideology, though.
Yeah.
But once we start merging with this technology, there will be no question.
I think that part may take longer. I think there's gonna be holdouts, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you can stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, if all the futurists and scientists that are working in these fields, it's not like it's one group of people doing it or one person doing it. It's exponential. So there's so many different people doing this type of research that it's what we do. It's like telling the bees to stop building the beehive. Like, what else are they going to do? They build beehives. Right? They're bees. We build technology. That's what we do. And it does make me think of a concern that I do have about it. So China is one of the biggest global powers in the world, and probably second to us. And technologically, they're really advanced. I mean, they probably invest more in AI and technology than anybody. And they're sort of separating themselves from the rest of the world too, which that concerns me from an evolutionary standpoint. It concerns me because if in evolution, if you have one species of an animal and you divide that species into two separate regions and you separate them and they don't have access to each other, well, after thousands of years, they evolve into two separate species. And I feel like technology will do the same thing. If you divide the technology, then you're going to have different types of technology evolving in two different ways, and you're going to have two different species of technology. And I refer to that as more of on the AI side.
Right.
So if China develops some type of really powerful artificial general intelligence that's sentient or self-aware or conscious, and the rest of the world does the same thing, these two AIs may be totally different.
Yeah.
One could be helpful and one could be harmful.
It's like two computer programs playing chess against each other.
Yeah.
One's got to win, though.
Maybe. I mean, there's also the thought that, with society, we've seen that as society becomes more technologically advanced, they become less violent, less aggressive.
I just wonder though if you're like what we call violence today. So let's say that we're talking about like technology. Like, I have no emotional connection to a program on my computer. Right. If it becomes obsolete, I click delete.
Yeah.
Right? What if masses of people become obsolete? What you would call evil, a program would just say obsolete and click delete.
Well, maybe
you could wipe out entire populations, and it wasn't wiped out. The mens rea of this is not evil; they're obsolete. It's an obsolete program.
It's funny you should bring this up. Like, there is an episode of Star Trek, an old one, where it was a planet and these people had achieved this technologically advanced society. Granted, this is from a 60s mindset looking at the future of the planet, but they had the robot, the AI took care of everything. I don't think they even called it AI, but it was this machine robot taking care of the whole planet.
Yeah.
And they were at war. But they were only at war because it was part of the program. And they didn't really actually fight each other. They just said, well, this section got hit, report to the extermination room or the disintegration room. So you as your citizen, our place got hit, we're all dead now. So we get in line and we go to the room and vaporize. It's really weird.
Well, we don't. So also, as we become more technologically advanced, we care more about the planet. We care more about life.
Yeah.
We care more about. We've always cared more about higher intelligence, animals with higher intelligence, like primates and stuff like that. I mean, we do still do research on them, but I think that's one of the important aspects of the development of AI is that we don't want it to necessarily have our morals and values because they're not the greatest. Like we've been in a war for 20 plus years right now, currently. So we don't have, we're not the best yet, but we hope that, the hope is that the AI, when it becomes aware, self-aware and conscious, that it can do a better job than us and actually help us solve some of these problems. And that's the hope, and then I don't think, and even if there are two different AIs that develop, once it becomes conscious and self-aware, I don't think it's going to see war and those types of issues as just useless nonsense. That there's no reason for that. I mean, it could just wipe us all out, but hopefully it'll just help us to do better and reach that next level as a civilization. And I think it's really part of us. I think all this technology is really it's in a symbiotic relationship with us. It is a part of us. It's an extension of us. And I think we'll just sort of merge with it, and it'll be a natural part of our evolution. And then we'll stop fighting each other. And most of the human suffering and human conflict is just a fight for resources.
Yeah.
And once we reach a level where we're advanced enough where we have basically unlimited resources, there's nothing to fight over. At that point, we're just trying to continue on as a species, and there will be no regard, like no awareness of racism or any of this nonsense we deal with today that just seems silly.
So you think that sort of, here I'm using that N word again, natural, sort of our natural predisposition to compete with each other, to win over each other and all that will dissipate because of just abundance of everything at your fingertips.
Right. I mean, we're primates. So if you look at primates, like lower primates than us, they still behave. They're very selfish. They're always fighting each other over resources and areas. And I think we're getting past that. And I think once we can increase our mental capacity to a certain level where we can all be connected together. I think all life is probably one living organism anyway. It all came from the same single-celled organisms. It just branched off in these different areas. And I think we're all one organism. And I think we're just becoming more aware. And I think as we become more advanced, we become more enlightened and more aware, and we become less violent.
Let me ask you this. Stephen Hawking, I know you've heard of him.
Oh, yeah.
Before he died, he kind of didn't think that us sending out messages into space that, hey, we're here, was such a great idea.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with him. Just looking at the ocean, all these unknown kind of organisms, and they're all competing for life and stuff like that. What if outer space is like that? We don't understand shit about it.
That's true.
What if we're like that? We kind of get going on with our mining operation and all that kind of stuff, and we're really peaceful. We're not used to fighting each other anymore, and we're friends with robots, all that kind of stuff. But then another group, all hypothetical, shows up, and they're all about conquering space. They're really good at it. Thousands of ships move in really quick, and within a week, everything and every resource is drained from a system or something. I don't know. Sounds crazy, but
Well,
hypothetical.
I think if there was an advanced civilization like that, we would probably have already seen them. They would probably leave some type of a trail.
Right.
There would be some trace of that
Okay.
out there.
Okay.
And they're constantly searching for that. They have SETI,
Cool.
which is constantly looking for
Right.
signals or anything that's unusual from other star systems that would be somewhat close to us.
Right.
But I think a lot of scientists believe that if there is other, well, most scientists believe there's other life out there, and there's most likely other intelligent, advanced life out there in the universe because it's so vast. I mean, just our own galaxy, there are billions of star systems, and there's trillions of galaxies. So it's just incomprehensible how big the universe is.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of experts believe that if there are advanced civilizations out there that are advanced enough to travel here,
Right.
they wouldn't need our resources anyway.
Right.
They'd have access to resources we can't even comprehend. They would understand what dark matter is and dark energy is and how to manipulate gravity and all this stuff. And also, if they did come here, if they already have came here, we may not be able to comprehend them or even perceive them. They may be living in a different plane of reality.
Sure.
Like they could be in a different dimension than
Frequency,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, and they could already be communicating with us, and we wouldn't even be aware of it.
The thoughts in our heads. They're
Yeah,
not yours.
ideas, anything, part of consciousness. So, and they may even perceive time differently than us. They may be able to manipulate time. They may be able to go. Maybe time is not really linear like we perceive it. Maybe it's all like everything is happening at once, and we just live in these moments. Whereas maybe these other more advanced civilizations can live in all the moments at once, or maybe they are us.
Yeah.
So there's so many possibilities; it's endless. But I'm not worried about an alien civilization coming across the galaxy just to destroy us. I think that's kind of silly. But
Right.
if they did, they're just assholes.
Yeah. I mean,
There's no reason.
assholes exist. So,
They do. Yeah.
My wife would disagree. Yeah. I think I got called an asshole last night, actually. And probably again this morning.
It happens occasionally.
It does, yeah. I'm not entirely sure what I did, but I'm not entirely sure what I didn't do either. So it's like, it's the last day of the year. Got to get a few assholes in, I guess. Got to finish 2020 on a high note. Jesse, I'm still kind of like, I don't know. Like when I play chess, and I don't play chess for money, right?
Right.
Like it's like a challenge.
Yeah.
It's fun.
What pattern is going to beat this person?
Yeah. So for me, it's hard to imagine that disappearing because we have resources, right?
I know, because I have to say, there's maybe a joy or something about it of examining a situation or a thing and obtaining it, or
well, even technology isn't
manipulate it.
technology designed to solve a problem, right?
Yeah.
So a problem would be like a chess program that's designed to win,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we are on some level. Even the technology we're creating is designed to win. It's designed to accomplish the objective.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's competition.
Yeah.
On some forms, right?
Yeah.
So like, how does that go away?
I don't know.
And if we have two merging technologies, he was talking about AI, like China has their own subset, and we end up with our own subset, let's say.
Right.
Well, wouldn't part of the programming of that AI be to compete and win?
Absolutely. And what I see happening with that is, like, if you have AI and it kind of becomes way more powerful than us, it could probably write other AIs, and then I could see a system getting extremely convoluted with all of this stuff. Like humans just kind of get knocked over the side. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like I said, the analogy, I don't feel anything when I delete a program that's obsolete.
No.
Nothing, right?
I know.
And so if you think about it, if you take it down to that I don't know if we call that a macro or micro level, but if you come down to that and look at it at that level,
right,
you go, this is obsolete, and it's being eliminated.
Right.
There's not an emotional Like the computer's not gonna have emotion. I don't have emotion about it,
No.
right?
Right.
When you take it and you zoom back in, you go, well, these are people, these are humans. Like that's,
Right.
but that's a thin line.
I could see, like right now, of course, we're not going to be very emotionally attached to machines and stuff like that, but I could see that changing.
No, I think so.
I could see machines getting so like us
Yeah.
that you could easily form, your best friend could be one of them, or
Yeah.
something like that.
I think the lines are going to be blurry for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I kind of wonder about that, though. Like, any change, I think there's volatility with change.
Yeah.
So this year had political volatility and,
sure.
and a lot of other BS. But we'll just leave it at that. But
Right.
I think technology is going to create some volatility over the next, if all these things are going to happen, like he was talking about that Musk is saying over the next decade, we're going to be ripe with volatility over the next decade because there's going to be a competition, and maybe things get better in the future. That's
Oh, yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But for the next decade,
It's gonna be interesting.
while there's a race to Mars and a race to all these other things, chaos is coming, right? On some level, it's like, man, I just thought about that. It's about, I know 2021, I'm hoping is going to be better than 2020. I think it's going to be a different set of problems.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here
That's it.
wondering, like, well, how many new issues are about to come up?
Well, one good thing is like our current problems could be like seen as non-issues
That's
after
true.
we hit that stuff.
I feel like that's how it is in life, man. Anytime I look backwards at a problem,
Oh, yeah.
in the moment, it felt like sometimes like it was so devastational
Life
to
or
my
death.
life or death, right? And then in arrears, when you look at your life in review, you go, it wasn't that bad, actually,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
because what you're comparing it to has changed, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
So-
my wife's gone through some stress with work and stuff like that as we do. But then I just thought about my own stress I went through, like delivering a movie. Never gone through stress like that before. After I did it, I could do it again because I know what to expect now, and I can prepare for all those things that gave me a problem
Yeah.
before,
Right.
So I think some changes. I think there's further change coming and further new wars to fight and new drama and new
Yeah.
everything. So we'll see, man. It's going to be
Yeah.
rocky.
Hopefully there's a lot of fun to be had, too.
I'm gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun. A lot of sex. Who was it we had on the other week? He said sex robots. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was David.
Yeah, David.
Yep.
We're gonna make sure he's got a steady supply of robots. That's what I want to see. Who was the robotics company we had on just a minute ago?
Boston Dynamics.
Boston Dynamics needs to make a sex robot. I want to see that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I think that would start solving some of the loneliness and
I feel like if they made one, it may be dangerous. They're a little too sturdy looking.
yeah. But
Be injured.
no, I mean this could solve the loneliness epidemic going on.
Right.
like.
Well, there are sex robots.
Oh, are there?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
there's
I
somebody holding that down. So
yeah, but they don't look as like those dancing robots from Boston AI look pretty legit.
yeah, I think we can't even fathom the technology that'll be here next decade, in the
Yeah.
2030s.
Agreed.
Yeah. You're talking about the technological race too between different countries and so forth. That can be really good. That can create a lot of opportunities and.
Well, if you have a lot of different things being developed at the same time, granted, aren't one of those things that going to be perfect all the way through? They're going to be
one of those
great
could
things
be-
about all of them.
The atomic bomb was
pull
one of
in.
those things.
Right.
So it can go the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But
But even with nuclear stuff, they're coming up with much better ways with that technology and stuff. They could even bring back some nuclear power plants that's sort of done in a new way. They have the
Oh,
newer
yeah.
ones are pretty good.
well,
you know?
nuclear power is one of the cleanest forms of energy.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of scientists they believe that fusion will be, a true fusion reactor will be the
Oh, yeah.
future. But
I want my Mr. Fusion on my car. Just throw in a banana peel, and I got, I can go to a different year.
right. Also, I forgot to mention that this is the last day of 2020. So
I'm so excited.
very exciting.
And by the time you guys watch this, all four of you, when you guys watch this, it'll be 2021.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
And
hey.
hopefully a much better year.
Well, you know what's going to happen? Every year at New Year's, it's actually been very frustrating for me since the time I was probably like 13 or 14. There's this unwarranted, possibly, or unjustifiable sense of optimism that people get.
Yeah.
Right. Every year it comes, and it lasts for some for 2 weeks. It lasts for 6 weeks for others. Doesn't last the whole year, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But they get it every year, and you have this spike, and that's why gym membership sells. Gym memberships. Planet Fitness said that they sold like 85% of their memberships between like right at the end of literally right at the end of the year and the last week of January.
Wow.
Because it's New Year's resolutions, right?
Yep.
Everybody's going to change their life. And so what I'm actually looking forward to for the first time, because usually I didn't look forward to this.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to it because I think this sometimes unwarranted optimism, I'm looking forward to this amongst the general population, and hopefully between that and the recent stimulus and all these other things going on and some of the political stuff eventually is going to solve it's going to solve itself one way or the other here shortly.
Yeah.
And I think with a lot of these things wrapping up, and then this optimism that comes with the new year, and then the vaccinations, that are what was it called, the COVID
vaccine,
the COVID vaccines being out to the masses in the next, let's say, 60 or 90 days. Maybe we're going to have a rocky but less rocky first quarter of 21. And maybe by the time we hit like March, April, May, maybe we're back to some semblance of air quotes normal.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, my
So-
wife just got her first round of the vaccine this past week,
Yeah.
so it's out there.
Yeah. So I've heard so many different numbers, but I heard the number last week: 20 million doses had already been administered.
Yeah.
And I've heard the number that was like 2 or 3 million. So I'm not sure which number, as with most things.
20
right?
million sounds right.
Yeah.
And there's multiple other companies that are coming out with vaccines
Yeah.
too. So it'll be, I think, late spring things will be opening back up to normal.
Good. So anyway, last day of 2020. By the time you watch this, hopefully things are already starting to get better.
Yeah. and society needs to be healthier too. Like, people need to really let this be a motivation to
Yeah, I agree.
to become a healthier society.
Me personally, it's been, it wasn't related.
But you're doing it though. You're doing
I've
the
been
work.
doing it. Yeah, it wasn't related to COVID or things specifically, but I got to tell you, to be honest with you, I was so happy at the point I got COVID. I was definitely, in my mind, I was like, a year ago at my weight and my health, the year prior, I don't think I'd have gotten through it as easily as I did. So I was very thankful that I had made some life changes, and so I definitely want to continue that process into 21.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
and beyond. Yeah, it's a life change. It's a life.
Forever. It's a lifestyle.
So I hate to say diet. I changed my lifestyle.
Diet's a
Right, yeah.
shitty word, I
Yeah.
think. But
And diet is the first 3 letters are die.
yeah.
So I mean, that's why I hate that word. I just want to
Yeah.
point that out. Whoever created that word, it's the death of something,
I
right?
know. They
Like,
should have spelled it DYE.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Diet is the death of happiness and fun
It
and
is.
joy, and I think it's the opposite effect. I think you actually put more weight on.
Yeah,
Diet leads to
afterwards.
early death, I think.
Yeah.
I've
Yes.
started a few good habits too. A little bit just like you guys, and Action Bronson kind of got me motivated.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. But
Hey, that dude's come a long way.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
watching some stuff
He's
the
awesome.
other day. Yeah.
I love his shows.
Yeah.
But I've just been lifting weights for 3 weeks. But
Nice.
all my little aches and pains and all the problems I was having, like I had trouble getting on my side because of my shoulders and stuff. Because
Yeah.
I've ripped them apart doing a lot of handheld photography. But like they've come back. Like lift just 3 times a week. And
Doesn't take a lot.
Just a little bit, and it just made a huge difference.
You hadn't even seen the best benefits
amazing.
yet.
Right.
Yeah, give it 90 days, and then tell me. I want to hear all the compliments your wife's giving you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Me too.
That's funny.
Yeah, I remember it was demoralizing and motivating at the same time. My wife put her hands on my chest, and we were doing what we were doing, and she's like, she was making these comments, and I thought to myself, I must have just been a fluffy, fucking marshmallow eating motherfucker a year ago, because I wouldn't get any of these comments. Like, she's like, oh, it feels so good, it's so firm. She's like, oh yes. I was like, yeah, it made me feel good. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait a second. What did it used to feel like?
Nice. That's funny.
Anyway.
On that note, we were talking about. I guess it was we took a little break. You said, or did you say something about Space Force?
I did.
That was
but
you,
then-
yeah.
Yeah. But you got something new about it.
Yeah. So this isn't really about Space Force, but it's got to do with that. So China, they just landed on the moon, or landed a craft on the moon a few weeks ago.
Who owns the moon?
Nobody. The moon, the universe.
Yeah, but You know what's coming? We're going to start staking claims to stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a Chinese flag on the moon now. And there's an American flag and a Chinese flag on the moon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so China landed a spacecraft on the moon a few weeks ago. They took some rock samples. They apparently landed in the youngest part of the moon. It's an old basalt volcanic crater.
Huh.
And it's supposed to be
It's
like
on the dark side of the moon too, right?
Yes, and it's like 1 billion years younger than the part we landed on. As far as
Sounds like they were more methodical.
it was
about
active for a long time. Yeah.
What was over there? I wonder.
Well, technology's much better now too.
Yeah.
It was a guy from the U.S. that
A traitor.
recommended they land there.
A traitor. No.
Maybe.
So they landed on the dark side of the moon.
Well, hopefully, when China develops their AI, it'll make them nicer.
Well, I mean, here's my thing, I guess, and I hate to circle back to this, but it's really irritating. It's not irritating; it just keeps coming up. All right, let's say that I'm an evil person.
Yes.
Well, Jordan Peterson says there was this thing he did, and I actually really like this, and he made an analogy, and I may have mentioned this previously, but he made an analogy about Harry Potter, and Harry Potter was touched by evil and evidenced by the lightning bolt. Okay.
Yeah.
And because he was touched by evil, he was more prepared and more apt to deal with evil as he aged, right? Because evil was within him, right? And then he talks about the saying that the meek will inherit the earth. And what he says, the meek, the definition that we understand it to be, is not accurate. What he means by that is the meek individual is an individual that has the ability, that has a weapon, but has the forethought to keep it sheathed. And that individual will inherit the world, right? So what I keep coming back to is like the safest man might also be the deadliest man, right? And he's made a decision for good.
Yeah.
But he could have made the decision to go a different way. He's made a decision to keep his weapon sheathed, right? And I don't want to put China as in they're this evil thing because of politics and all the stuff. I don't know it personally. I haven't experienced it personally, so I'm not going to say that. But if they are, well, wouldn't they design, like, maybe technology as it advances is less violent, right? But wait a second. What if it's designed to be violent? Because that's a possibility.
Well, that's the problem. That's one of the concerns that a lot of scientists and AI.
Because I've chosen to be for good, right? Like I think I'm a good person. I want my number one goal in life, aside from my business aspirations, is to be a good father, right? I've picked a path. I could have easily picked a different path, right? So there's a version of me in China that maybe picked a different path, that their goal is not world peace, their goal is world domination, and they're creating AI. And China's a number. It could be Russia, could be Europe, could be Africa, could be anybody, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I sit here and worry about. I'm like, I get it, and maybe the end effect, the net effect 50 years from now, 100 or 20, is that there's all this world turmoil before. It's the storm before the calm. Yeah. And then after one party wins, maybe then it's where this peace. But maybe there's a lot of violence before that.
Maybe. The concern is that a powerful society like China develops some type of advanced AI that's not. It's not artificial general intelligence. It's not conscious, but it's very powerful, and they can just manipulate it and make it do what they want it to do. An AI on that level. I mean, it could potentially hack every computer in the world instantaneously.
Just look at what Russia just did as far as that mass worldwide hack they did.
Yeah.
Like, imagine what damage you could do with something.
No,
you can bring any country right now to its knees if you take away all of their connection to the internet.
Russia's not a big concern in that area.
No,
though.
I don't think. But it was just
if we're gonna pick,
I
just want whoever's watching this, Vladimir Putin. I don't know the Chinese. Is it a prime minister or president? I don't know what they're
president for life in China.
Okay, so I just want you guys to hear this. Here's why I don't want China to win. I have a hard time speaking Chinese, and an even harder time reading it. I do much better with Russian. So if I got to pick one other than America, I'm just going to base this off what's easy for me to pronounce. I think this is a good way to pick a side, like what language is best for me. So
Well, my hope long term is that I guess the real hope would be that China does, when they do develop because we're developing technology equally as fast.
Sure, that's what they want you to think.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah. But when they do develop an artificial intelligence, hopefully it will quickly become sentient.
Yeah.
And it can sort of direct its own.
My hope is that there's sort of an unwillingness of cultures to like mingle. I think when maybe people in different countries, hang out more with other people from other countries, a lot of these problems will kind of go away because, like, well, you're not so bad.
Well, yeah,
but I think that kind of stuff. But
I love
it's
all
gonna be a
people.
while.
I think there should be forced. I think take two people that hate each other and put them in a goddamn room.
Yes.
And guess what? I promise you, if they spend enough time together, they're going to find things in common, right?
We're all the same thing.
Yeah. So I've got friends that are from Taiwan. I've got Korean friends. I've got friends. I mean, I've got I don't care.
Right.
A qualification to be a friend of mine is not where you're from or what you look like.
It's how you treat
each exactly, other. Man. Yeah. Like, do you have my back? Are you some level of ethical and honesty? Do you have some type of moral standard, right?
Yeah,
like,
do you value life?
Do you value life, right? Like, are you, and being a good person, good in air quotes again, good person is relative, but
right.
Like, we all have friends, right? For me, a friend is, even when it's inconvenient, they're your friend.
Yes.
Even when life is difficult, they're your friend.
Yeah.
Even like that. Like I've got friends that I went through hard times. Like Neil was one of them that help lift you up.
Yeah.
They don't do it for you. But they help lift you up. They'll stand back to back or shoulder to shoulder with you and face whatever it is. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that. The person that's willing to do that, I don't care if they're what they are, who they are. Like.
Yeah.
So like for me, some of the stuff is such.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit, man. And it's for all the people out there that think differently. You're a fucking idiot. So sorry.
A lot of it's a lot of our human ideas are arbitrary.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't really make sense. I mean, even our barriers between countries and states and
listen, if I go to China or Russia tomorrow, there's going to be a learning curve. I'm gonna have to figure a bunch of shit out. But I'll find a way to make it, and I'll find a way to develop a life there and be successful in any environment.
For sure.
And you're going to make friends. You're going to make alliances.
Technology is already connecting us to each other.
It is, man.
And I think
the world's getting smaller.
The barriers are falling.
Yeah.
And I believe eventually we'll look at ourselves as a one big society.
Right.
Because
we have different sectors, but
it shouldn't be us in China. It should be us.
Humanity.
Yeah.
Meaning
humanity. Yeah.
The people on this rock.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
that's surrounded by space junk.
Yeah.
Flying at 10,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But right now it has to be that way because you have people like the leaders in China who want to conquer the world.
Yeah.
We have to get past the idea of one person being able to manipulate millions or billions of people to maintain power.
Don't tell Jake Paul that on YouTube, man. That dude did a post. Literally, Jake Paul. Sorry, buddy. He did a post about how I think it was today, and it's number one on trending, by the way. And it's just he comes out in a lawn chair in front of his house and he says, "Why I'm leaving California," which it feels almost clickbaity, like everybody's leaving California because of taxes, right? But his is because he's going to be a world-renowned prize fighter. And he wants to take it seriously, so he's going to leave California because there's too many distractions there. I'm like, well, I can get that. But when he's talking about his fighting ability and you got millions of people watching it instantly, don't tell Jake Paul you don't want him having control over people because this is the problem is centers of influence. There are people that have massive amounts of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I differ with some of his personal views on certain things recently, just to the extent of his personal view, but that's okay. I don't have to like every single aspect. I think overall, 99.9%, I admire what he's accomplished, what he's done, right? But like that guy has influence over hundreds of millions of people.
It's incredible.
I mean, I think just his Instagram has like 70 million people or something. But so it's like that's part of the issue too. Is it's part of a solution and part of the issue at the same time.
I think it's a good. That's a good thing in a lot of ways. But I mean, you do have
as long as it's used for good things.
Yeah, I mean, it's harder for people to lie to you too because we have access to so much information. So if someone does lie to you, it's easy to call them on their bullshit.
That's true,
and that's a big advantage. That's I feel like
I think that is a good thing.
history has brought a lot of sociopaths into powerful positions, and now we have the ability to prevent that from happening because they can't manipulate people as easily as they used to. Like Hitler, Stalin, all those dictators.
Were you the one that told me
sociopaths.
about Hitler's mustache, or was that somebody else?
That was somebody else.
So everybody, I don't know who told me this, but they were saying that Hitler's mustache, the reason it was the way it was is because he got basically gas. He got gassed, and he put the gas mask on, and because of his mustache, it didn't get a full seal, and it caused some pretty severe side effects and some of those mental and stuff. So what he ended up doing was shaving off the sides so that it fit perfectly with the gas mask. That way it wouldn't happen again, and he kept it like that.
And it was the style of times too. Charlie Chaplin had it, all that kind of stuff, and he ruined it for everybody that wants the mustache after.
That's true. Yeah.
So I don't know where the hell that came from, but anyway.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, for sure. Stuff like how did the Nazis happen and all that, it had to be a certain amount of factors that happened during that time.
Yeah.
If something were to happen like that again, it would be completely
a lot different today.
It would be a different kind of thing because we're too
too
mixed up.
connected.
There's so much disinformation mixed with the information.
Governments can try to make an individual. They can try to demonize somebody, right?
Sure.
And
they do.
They do, right? But I think what you guys were talking about earlier is that the problem is that the technology and these borders have opened because of technology, and the world's becoming a smaller place.
Yeah.
I think people are waking up to the bullshit. Like, wait a second. They're questioning, at least. And I think you should question. I think it's healthy to question authority on some level. It's healthy to question people in authoritative positions.
Sure.
Like, I get it. Like I'm very supportive of police. Very supportive of military, these things.
Sure.
However, if a police officer is asking me questions, I got to understand, one, they're an authority figure, and I've got to question, do I really, on some level, do I really need to comply, and to what extent at this point?
Oh, yeah.
And I still have to protect my own interests, and I think people with governments have got to do the same thing. We've got to question it and go, wait,
Absolutely.
we need to make our own decision. And technology is allowing us to do that a little bit.
Like, I like to use my own mind for
Yeah.
decision making. I don't like to be told
I
that I
know,
have to
man.
do this. And I get why on some points, but
Yeah.
you don't have to tell me. Just explain to me that this is probably a
Exactly.
bad idea and I can do that. However, I know why some laws are made that way because there's a bulk of humanity that are not going to do that.
I would love you get given an option and educated on why, some good reasons about why you shouldn't do it, and not be this PC shit about why you shouldn't smoke.
Explain why.
Explain it.
Yeah.
And then let a person make their decision. And guess what? If the person, if free will, if I choose wrong,
Right.
then I need to. If I'm an adult, and I don't mean 13-year-old adult, I mean like a real adult.
Sure.
Not a child charged as an adult, but a real
Right.
adult. If I'm making it as an adult, an informed decision, and it's the wrong one, there is some level of consequence. Hey, fair enough. You should
Absolutely.
accept that.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Totally agree.
I have to make a correction too. So there's not a Chinese flag on the moon.
Oh.
Hey, well, there you
Yeah,
go.
that was a fake photo, but it was part of the same article.
You got to watch out for that.
But they did land.
So why
a
wouldn't they
craft.
leave a flag?
Well, I guess
Sure
the
they
craft
would.
couldn't leave a flag. They'll probably leave one when they. I think they're planning a manned flight over the next couple of years.
I can't wait for a troll to go onto the thing and start taking
So
down people's
China
flags.
has 3 lunar missions right now that they're working on, and then the U.S. is planning to take astronauts back to the moon in 2024, I believe. Right. So we're actually going to have a manned flight to the moon in 2024, and they want to start building a base.
I wonder who's going to be the first asshole to fucking carve like an ad on the moon that we're forced to look at all
bro.
the time. You know?
I got to tell you, where I live last night, there's assholes everywhere. Sometimes I can be one of them, I'm sure. So, as my wife says, right? But where I live, there's wealthy people sometimes think they can do whatever the hell they want, and people in general, people without money think they can do whatever they want. But either way, I have seen it where you get somebody that's really, really wealthy and they just do what the hell they want. So anyway, they did these like Batman-esque. When they'd flip the light and it went up in the sky.
Yeah.
the
They
bat
did
signal.
3 of those, and they were like playing the music, and you could see it all across, and it was blinding. Like it was still running at 11:40 midnight last night, like during the week, and it's just like lights everywhere, and they're hitting them, and it hits your house, and it lights up the whole room. Like it was all over the. They like just running. I'm sitting here going, that type of asshole would definitely carve some ad.
Yes, he would. In the moon, McDonald's, you know.
So, like the old school version of me, and I didn't do this, but I thought about it. The old school version of me was like, I'm going to get my gun out and shoot the lights out.
I was thinking that immediately.
Yeah. So, and I've done, you know, any of you that like to go out with the lights, like $10,000 worth of neon light, LED lights at night, and go night fishing, and shine lights into my bedroom. I just want to let you know, I thought about it, but I didn't do it. I was thinking about shooting your lights out too. But who knows, man? But yeah, there's definitely something. Something's coming. How about a troll? Like lands on the moon and takes down the American flag, and then snaps about it on Instagram or
coming.
TikTok.
Those
Well, the good
guys
thing
exist.
is it's not easy to get there.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's a lot further from the Earth than people think too. We haven't had any spacecraft really leave Earth's orbit, I think, since the last, or any manned space flight since the last moon landing.
Really?
Yeah, which was like 1970.
That's a long time ago.
All that stuff was
74.
really done with just competition of superpower stuff
Yes.
between us. It wasn't really.
So it was this
The
huge
astronauts
rush.
were all about studying the moon, but the powers that be that paid for it were like, yeah, you're going to get there because we need to be better
Yeah.
than them.
Yeah, so literally there was this massive push, the space race, right? And then they just dropped the ball. Like, okay, we're done. We've done that.
It went to the shuttle program. Everybody's bored of that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time a country successfully landed on the moon was the Soviet Union in 1976.
Yep. They had planned for other types of missions and stuff after that, but that just kind of,
It fell through.
yeah, it's sort of like Vietnam.
Yeah. So that's it. So we'll probably have moon bases by 2030.
If we don't have one already.
Oh,
Yeah, supposedly there's one already, remember?
That's
Wasn't that what
Mars.
the alien
There's a Mars
yeah.
base.
was it a Mars
Yeah,
base?
Mars base, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of where it lost me. I was like, I don't know about
It's,
that.
how do you know? You know.
Some things are so unbelievable that I believe them. Like, have you ever heard that? Like, it just seems like it's so far fetched, and you go, wait a second.
Life is like that, though.
Yeah,
like
I'll-
I've seen stuff that's happened here that's beyond. I mean, it's like, well, geez, we can't really write about this anymore because it's totally fucked now.
Yeah. Did you guys see was it something in one of the bills recently about they spoke about it, like they have 180 days to release all their information about aliens, and it was actually one of the COVID relief package that came.
No, I didn't
Right
see
on.
that.
Yeah, you should type it in and look. Like literally, there's something. I don't know if it was written in it or if it was spoken, but that basically given an arbitrary deadline saying that they had to release all the information and documents the government did
Oh, wow.
about aliens and space over
Right.
the next 90 or 180 days. It just came out like a week ago. I saw it,
That's cool.
so that could be interesting too.
Oh yeah,
21 is going to be interesting.
it
Yeah, I
is.
think so. Yeah.
It already is, and it hadn't happened yet.
Yep.
Life is interesting in general.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
It's very fascinating. And the more we learn, the less we know.
So, what are y'all's hopes for this coming year? What do you think?
Survival.
I like that.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
That's a great
Big
one.
one to live. My goal is for me and my family, my friends, to survive until 2045.
Hey, that works. Why?
That's-
Okay, why 2045?
That's when the singularity is supposed to really just be ripping. So,
Ah,
so if we can make it that far, then we may never die.
right on. Which could be a good thing or it could be hell.
Plus,
Hey.
my curiosity is just out of control. So.
Yeah, no bounds.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking like Eminem right now. I'm thinking like love is evil, spell it backwards, and I'll show you. Like, and then to live, like the actual written way of live, LIVE is evil, spelled backwards. Like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you say to live, and I'm sitting here going, what does that really mean?
Well, the love thing kind of goes more towards evolve too, which is kind of neat.
Oh, that's,
That's
right.
true.
That's
That's
true.
true. That's true.
Yep.
So Eminem, I'm playing with your lyrics, man. I need you to do something about this.
Don't
Yeah.
get sued.
He just did Nat here a little bit ago, and it involved COVID. These bars are like COVID. It's pretty good. It wasn't one of his greatest things, but it was good.
And I guess the hope is that people will start being more self-aware. You know, stop.
You talking about at 21?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop living your life like it does last forever, because realistically, our lives, at least so far, are really short.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no reason to hurt other people or try to steal from other people, or just be the best person you can.
I think my goals are is very similar to what they were this year. I think that the only thing that has changed is this whole, all the models, the Miss Americas, the Miss Universe, all that stuff. Like, what is it they want? Remember, the kind of
World
running
peace.
joke was world peace, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like those women now, and I think I want world peace. Like I'm just kind of fucking over all the negativity and all that stuff. Like, so if that could be one thing that happens in 21 is that we have, I'm not so naive to say world peace, but at the same point, if we could move back in the direction of less hostility, less violence, less hate, less division, man, that'd be awesome.
You have to have ideas to create that.
Yeah.
I think two people would benefit from, like, if they, I get it, you blatantly, like, not you guys, but like someone would blatantly attack some sort of concept like communism or socialism, but not have any understanding about it. My thing is go back and see how that developed and why.
I agree.
What were the problems that happened? Why did it develop? Look at the system, find out where it doesn't work. I think systems, you can pick and choose pieces of them that work.
Yeah.
And then create something new or enhance something that kind of works pretty well, but maybe you can make it better for that time. And it should be made to change too, maybe. I don't know.
I see there's things about things like I'm definitely a capitalist.
Right. Me too.
But amongst my friends and family, I'm more of a socialist.
Sure.
Well, I think...
Right,
I think a lot of our ideas, people mistaken them for socialist ideas, but they're not.
Yeah,
right.
They're just better ideas.
Yeah,
and they're still capitalist ideas, but for some reason, a lot of people believe that if you
it's capitalist, but without the negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
And
it's
I
a
like
healthy
some
society.
Exactly.
And it's not about conquering; it's about.
I think the problem sometimes is the label we put on
uplifting
something.
everybody.
Like we put this label
These
on
labels,
we put a label on, and we classify it as socialism, and then we go, well, wait a second, that's part of socialism, and then it becomes, oh, we want socialism, and then even if it's a good idea, they lump it with capitalism or socialism or whatever,
Right.
Whatever ism.
Why does it have to be called anything?
Yeah, exactly. How about it's just a fucking good idea, and this is a solution to a problem.
Right.
Like we need more of that in 2021.
Right,
Let's do some of that.
We can do that.
I agree.
Because everything is a construct. It's all an idea.
Yeah,
we just need better ideas.
I agree, and you know what? These keyboard warriors out here. You know what's really funny is seeing some of them in person. Like I've seen some people that are staunchly against each other. And I've seen them interact in person and not knowingly interact in person, and they're fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's just different when you have that.
I've known others, too. Like I got some friends from where I'm from, and a bunch of artists there, potters and that kind of stuff. But they all have different kind of views.
Oh, yeah.
And one will post something and just get savaged by the other, but then they're friends.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Well, also you talk about people mistaking our ideas for socialist ideas when they're not. They're clearly not. But a lot of people have the idea that if you have any desire to make society better, to end poverty, to raise the floor, that you're a socialist. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
Socialism is having a finite amount of resources and then dividing it amongst the population.
Right.
You take from people that have done very well and you give it to people who are not doing very well or don't want to do well.
Yeah.
And that's socialism. That doesn't work. That destroys innovation and progress and motivation.
Sure.
There's no incentive.
But there are things within it that was a good idea in thought. And it doesn't work for a certain kind of reason, but there are ideas coming up with like in socialism and stuff that aren't bad per se. There's
the only thing bad about them is they were tied to the negative aspects of socialism. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like pure socialism has always failed because it
doesn't regard
there's
the
no
human
incentive to
necessity
do
to
anything.
get stuff.
It de-incentivizes people. Then you have to create labor camps and stuff to make.
What if
people
we provided
do things.
these socialistic things to like relationships? Like every
How does
man
this
gets,
work out?
see what I'm saying? Like
people would not like that.
They wouldn't like it, right? Like hey, it doesn't matter. Like this is a terrible game of roulette. But anyway,
let's not go in.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because I just went. We'll do that for another one. But
All right.
but anyway,
We don't have
now
time.
that could be an interesting conversation.
If we just want to look at people as
bro, we got to make like a little cartoon, bro. Jesse, I want to do this.
All right.
and it's going to be if relationships were socialist or something like this, and we need to make cartoon and make like a little what's that what's the famous?
We should produce a cartoon series of some of our ideas.
That's what we should do.
Fun.
Yeah,
That'd
and
be cool. An animated series. Maybe we didn't do that.
like I can imagine as like Cartman, like, oh, I got this.
But we just need to start looking at people as assets instead of liabilities,
Right.
and that would because all money is not really real anyway.
No, yeah, I agree.
I mean, the central banks produce all the money.
You know what?
And they can't go bankrupt. They buy all the assets. So when the economy's tanking, the stock market can still be soaring, and it's not real.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Like I think too, when people think about other people and they go and they don't want to help others, I go, well, what if that other person was your child? I'm not saying that you should give them everything. What I am saying is you should give them an opportunity.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to create an opportunity at minimum.
an opportunity worth
Right.
pursuing. Also,
Exactly. You need to give them give them the carrot that allows them to be motivated properly, right? And then give them opportunities to do it. But I don't think we should just blanketly provide.
No.
But I do think we have to blanketly provide some level of opportunity.
We still have to build this anthill.
Yeah, we still
It's not
got
gonna build itself.
It takes everybody's got to contribute to society in some way, and some of that might be music and art
But some
something.
of the some of the jobs too that are like real base jobs, just base level jobs that are just kind of shitty jobs. You don't really want to do them. You don't get paid. If you're getting paid $10 an hour, $8 an hour, $10 an hour to do a really shitty job that's just where you just hate your life, there's not much incentive there.
No, I agree.
No.
You know, you're still in a bad situation. But if you could do that job and then make a really good living and provide for your family and have a nice home, a nice vehicle, have education, all this stuff, then it's worth it. You know, then there's some incentive there.
Right.
And that person's going to be a better employee too, a better worker.
True.
Or maybe that'll also give them the ability to save a little bit of money and maybe jump off into something they really want to do, some kind of art or career, you know, or business.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Ideas. I like the idea of doing the animated series. Though.
I do too. I think that could be fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Could be fun. All right.
Anything else?
Oh, I'm sure there's tons else, but
I know you got a lot of stuff.
it's
to
the
do.
last day of 2020. We got stuff to do.
You got to get to Vegas.
I got to get to Vegas. I got stuff to do. I got to figure that out.
So.
I'm gonna have to hit up Mr. Wynn. Hey, I need the jet. Let's go.
Mr.
right.
Wynn, wow.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next year.
Later, guys.
Bye.